Welcome, everybody, to the How We Live podcast. I'm joined here by Pete McCoubrey. My name is Colby Yeaton, and we're going to open up. It's going to be a pretty quick episode. I am actually on vacation, so what that means is going to be quick, short, concise. We have a little bit of a break in the LIV schedule. We got Jeddah coming up in a few weeks. Obviously, we're going to want to talk about some significant things happening in the golf world. Pete, I'm going to kick it over to you because you are pretty hot and fired up about Tiger Woods and a lot of things that happened at the Genesis. But his overall brand launch, I know that was big for you. And go ahead.
I'm pretty hot and fired up. Also pretty hot and fired up for the listeners because this should be one of our better episodes, even though it's one of the fastest because our producer finally showed up, Bob Simon. We've been kind of just doing this on our own for a while. But it's going to be short this week because I forgot we were doing this. Then you emailed me 6 minutes ago and said, we're doing this. So I'm going to dedicate this performance to my favorite golfer, Tiger Woods, who for, I would say, the 60th to 80th time in the past 3 years, when the going gets tough for that guy, just quits. Bad back spasms, flu-like symptoms. He was down by about I went on ESPN. I assumed he was winning because the front page was after day one, Tiger Woods like pumping his fist, and then the little headline was like taps in for bogey, 7 behind leader. And I go in the next day, he's got both hands above his head. It's like Tiger Woods with the late charge, now 49 strokes behind the leader. And then sure enough, he looked at the leaderboard too, and now he's got the flu. And not only did he have it was such a bad flu that I read that 3 or 4 ambulances came just to check him out, and it turns out he was fine. They probably asked them for some sort of a prescription for pain medication, which I'm sure he got, and I'm sure we'll just go through all this again whenever the next tournament is that he backs out of. And in terms of his, I'll stop ranting. In terms of his new, what does he make? New sweatshirts?
He makes sweatshirts. So he's separated now from Nike. I don't know what the affiliation is with TaylorMade, but I'm pretty sure it's Tiger Woods' own brand called Sun, Day, Red. Sun, Day, Red. And it's a silhouette of what looks like the Puma from Puma shoes, sports apparel, whatever. If you were to tear its skin off and just show its skeleton, but it is a silhouette of a tiger, so you can see that the tiger stripes. I don't think it's supposed to look like a skeleton. I think it's just supposed to expose the actual tiger stripes. But I thought it was kind of cool. It will grow on me, I think, over time, which most people will, giving Tiger Woods the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, he like you said, like the media around Tiger Woods, I think we got to pump our brakes a little bit and understand that, look, we need to find somebody else at the top of golf who's going to kind of hand the reins over from Tiger to this new person. I think that Rory McIlroy is trying to take that right now, but at the same time, we gotta dish it off. We gotta find somebody else new. We can't figure out a way to say, hey, this person just sunk a putt for bogey after being 8 shots back off the leader.
I think Rory would be a good fit. He'd be a smooth transition in that he also only wins anything big like once every 10 years and is just constantly complaining about something. So I think for fans to transition from Tiger Woods, who never really wins but spends most of his time crying, to Rory, who also rarely wins and spends most of his time crying, is kind of a nice, on the PGA side of things, kind of like a good new face of golf for them. Smooth, and easy.
I don't know if you saw this, Pete, either, but your boy Jordan Spieth at the Genesis, he after day 2 going into the weekend, he wrote down a 3 on one of the holes, or somebody wrote down a 3. I imagine Jordan Spieth is not, writing down his own scores, probably his caddy, but he signed off on a scorecard. There was a 3 on one of the holes. He actually got a 4 and then immediately got disqualified and was not welcome. Granted, now with his mindset into the PGA, he's just like, hey, you know what? I did the wrong thing there. I honor the PGA. I'm disqualified. But at the same time, like, that's going to kill the ratings.
That is tough. It's also, you should be able to do that once per round. I feel like friend of the podcast, Jason Eddy, is pulling that stud once or twice around. You just give yourself a 3. You move on from whatever it is that you got at the actual hole. But maybe LIV can incorporate something like that. You get one auto. Oh, I messed up. My caddy signed that one.
Yeah, but also you have to look at it and be like, oh no, you actually didn't get a 3, you got a 4. And I feel like a guy like Jordan Spieth would be like, oh yeah, no, sorry, my bad, and just scratch it out and write a 4. It's not like they're going, hey, why don't you go ahead and track? It's like, okay, my tee shot, I hit one out of the sand, and then oh, okay, I actually did it. No one's doing that to Jordan Spieth. It's like, this is an honest mistake. We can't disqualify one of the top-rated pros from a whole weekend to then just kill the ratings and viewership and all that other stuff, where I feel like LIV would, just kind of shine a blind eye with that, put the chain smokers on, throw a couple ice luges in there, and then call everybody and just be like, okay, we'll figure it out.
I think it's a good point. Also, the place is riddled with cameras. So if he tries to dispute it, play the evidence. If he just tries to dispute it, maybe get DQ'd. But yeah, just okay. He's probably like, yeah, fine, I'll take a 4. Give me a 5 for all I care if I get to make the cut.
So moving away from the fact that LIV's off for about 3 weeks from Las Vegas, and obviously Tiger Woods coming out with his new brand, and we're all excited for that and see what happens, what kind of Percocets are interlaid within all that apparel. But at the same time, moving forward, your boy, Joaquin Niemann, just got the exemption invite to the Masters, which is pretty cool. So he'll be competing in that. So it'll, be a handful of LIV guys going in there. But Joaquin, getting the tip of the cap, if you will. Why don't you come and join us down in Augusta?
Big Joaquin guy. He showed real ice in his veins during that playoff against his childhood idol, Sergio. It won't be too big for him at Augusta. So pulling for my guy Joaquin. I'm just really hoping a guy from LIV wins, because it's really going to upset some people. And I like that. I like upset golfers. It's natural.
Yeah. I think if a LIV guy comes in there and wins, they don't need to dominate, right? Just comes in, wins, stays in contention for quite a while. I think, you're going to have Rahm there because he's won before. You're going to have Brooks. You're going to have Dustin Johnson. You're going to have Joaquin Niemann. You're going to have Bubba Watson, Phil Mickelson, obviously, and a handful of others. But at the same time, these guys are going to come in hot, ready to go. I feel like every year they have to try and compete and prove themselves that, hey, we're out here. We're the best in the world. We're going to compete with the best in the world, so on and so forth. I think also in some news, like there was interviews over this, weekend and early on in this week about Rory McIlroy being asked about, the tournaments and how they're going to kind of cohesively meld all these different leagues together and what's going to happen. But, he was kind of referring everything to the European football, aka soccer, about like you have the Champions League that sits over everything else, Premier, et cetera, the national leagues, whatever. Everybody like starts at the bottom, you work your way up, and then there's essentially 80 players that would be the best players in the world all competing in one tour where you kind of rise up to this. But I thought that was kind of interesting throughout. And he seems to be getting more and more excited about bringing all the leagues together and figuring out the best way to kind of move forward with the fact that you have really a disruptive time in professional golf and what's happening. But I don't know. I'm just a guy. We're both just
come together. Like eventually, this will all come together. We're going to forget where the money came from. I just hope that I think it's years down the road, but they just can't go back to regular PGA. Let the guys wear shorts. Maybe not at Augusta if you want to keep that tradition, but let them wear shorts. Keep the chain smokers going.
Yeah. And now a moment for our sponsor. A Wink or a Nod Marketing is a new boutique marketing agency specifically designed for small businesses. If you are too busy or simply just don't know how to run social media, build a brand plan, or write copy, go to winkoranod.com. 100%. Meanwhile, kind of turning things a little bit forward here. We have Jeddah coming up the first weekend in March. Boys are going to be out there in the hot sun of Saudi Arabia. Beautiful course. It's going to be right on the Red Sea, and there's a little bit of tumultuous action going on politically, intercontinentally out there. Hopefully, we don't see any pirate action off of one of the tee boxes, but you never know.
Unless
I think
whimsical pirates. No, that seems like a live thing to do. Meet people off the plank.
Yeah, if I was a pirate, I would actually post up like they do at the Lake Tahoe Pro-Am and just, cast an anchor off the side and say, hey, I'm going to take the pirating to a side.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and watch this pro event.
Yeah. R.
Yeah. R?
R.
Yeah.
Pirating to the side.
Yeah. Yarg. If I was a Somali pirate, I would probably, hey, why don't we go up there and take the day off, boys, and go watch the LIV event.
Yeah, take the boat over and place and watch some golf. That's a dream vacation, especially for those guys.
It's probably a company holiday now. I think about it for a lot of the pirates. They're just saying, hey, why don't we just drive the boat up? It's a company sponsored holiday. We'll just relax. We'll drink grog and have a good time.
Speaking of drinking grog, we're not skipping this without the 19th hole. So you mind if I bring something up?
No, let's move it straight into the 19th hole. Now that we're entering the 11th minute of this podcast, go ahead, Pete, with your 19th hole thought.
It's quick. Well, mine was going to be a question back to you. You're on vacation with our producer, and before we went live, you two were talking about how you might play. I asked if you were playing golf. You said it's touch and go, but we might go to the PGA Superstore. So, why are those the only? Why can't you go golfing, number one, and why can you only maybe go to the PGA Superstore?
Yeah, so two things. It's not that we can't go. It's modern times now, Pete. Okay, it's not 1950 where we, smoke a cigarette on the way home. There's a beer cracked for you. The dinner's cooked for you. You eat the dinner and you take a shower and you go to bed. It's not like that anymore. Now you have to be in the participatory section of, yearning your children up and being very hands-on as far as changing the diapers and, cooking dinners and doing laundry and putting the dishes away. And so when you're on vacation, it's not really a vacation when you're with your family. It's very, very much so a trip. So if you take 4 or 5 hours to go and play a round of golf, you need to come back and then put those 4 or 5 hours in, or you have the tit for tat situation, right? Yeah. Hey, we're gone for 4 or 5 hours. Now we're going to be gone for 4 or 5 hours, which I'm a big fan of. But with so few hours on a trip, you can't really do that. But there is a PGA Superstore down here, and I feel like as going into one of those places, you immediately throw out your line of credit, you throw out your credit score, you throw out whatever money you have in the bank account. You just simply go into a place like that and say, hey, I'm Elon Musk. I have a Visa Black Card. I can go in there and buy whatever I want. Or that's the mindset I'm going to go into it with, and maybe not exactly do this. Oh, here's Rob.
That's a story of a coward right there.
Oh, look. Oh gosh.
Producer Rob Simon comes in.
Rob, why don't you actually explain your mindset on this?
You got to fight it out. Fight it out.
No, so he's saying push through and just play the 18 holes.
And deal with it later.
Is there any chance you guys could say that you have a quick errand to run, but then you just come back with some groceries and say there was a really long line?
It always comes back to we need milk.
We need milk. Yeah, we're going to need milk at about 6:30 in the morning on Friday.
Yeah, bring the kids. Listen, I didn't know any of this stuff. That's good to know. I don't have kids. I didn't know you couldn't just go.
We'll try and bring the older boys.
Have you ever tried bringing your kid out?
I have, and it actually goes fairly well. If we take a couple carts, bring the older boys out, let them drive the carts around. All right, that's a way in. That's a way in.
Last time we went golfing with your son, producer Rob was there. He told your wife later that I yelled at him because, and I said, "Can you say what actually happened?" And he said he was playing a game called Mr. No Face, and when he would turn his hooded sweatshirt inside out to cover his face and then sprint directly into somebody's backswing. So I did yell Wyatt.
Nice.
And you can
Wyatt don't.
Keep his name
He's
out.
got a fairly decent mindset now of like keeping a 10-foot radius around whoever's got a golf club. And I took him out a lot last year, and he was mostly concerned about how fast the golf cart would go. So if we did,
Let's not make this too personal, and let's just coach the audience on how to deal with these situations.
right,
Okay,
so
here's what you do. I'm going to coach the audience. I don't have kids, but you take the two oldest ones.
Mhm.
They ride with you up front. They can sit on your laps. That's fine. While driving into your ball. Take the two
Yep.
smaller ones. Put them where you usually put the cooler. And so you walk out of there.
They were the cooler.
Yeah, in the back.
Walk out of the house without a cooler. You tell your wives, "Hey, we're taking the kids. We're not going to be drinking beers out there. We're only going to have a cooler." And then you put the kids where the cooler goes, and then you go to the bar, and just you guys have decently sized hands. That's probably a 6-pack each in bottles you can bring.
Right.
There's 4 cup holders, other 2 beers. Give them the 2 older kids. Tell them we're playing a game called Don't Spill a Drop.
Yeah, I love that idea, and I think that the only scenario that benefits actually a game of golf is where we get 2 carts. The 2 older boys, the 5-year-olds, will come, and the little ones will stay home, and everybody has a fairly good time. The moms get a little bit of a reprieve. Dads can still get around 18 in with the older boys because they have a little bit more patience. But you know what I'd like to know from our audience, our vast audience, and really what their experience is, because I don't want to hear this nonsense from like people with like newborn babies where they have that cute little like push cart where they have the adapter where they put the little golf clubs in and all that other nonsense, because that's not a child yet. That's an infant. Okay, I want somebody who's actually walking around causing havoc and screaming at the top of their lungs versus this little peach thing that's out there, or whatever color the baby is, but doesn't even do anything, and just kind of that's the easy way out. I want somebody who's going to have a terrorist on their hands and then figure it out. Say, hey, how do you do this? How do you go out there? But at the same time, we're still pushing, we're still strategizing. I think trying to figure out this well.
Put a poll up, like Colby said. Put a poll up on social that says, "Do you want kids? Yes or no?"
Yeah, and why?
Yeah,
or why not?
And why? Open ended.
Well, I want to thank you all for joining us on this episode of How We Live. It is a short episode. We do have a little bit of a time gap here, but make sure that you tune in at 4 a.m. The first weekend of March for the Jeddah LIV tournament. It's going to be riveting. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be everything that everyone wants to be. But we have a lot of things going on. A lot of guests pending on coming in. We're getting inquiry after inquiry of all of the different guests that want to come onto this show. Our producer Rob was nice enough to join us. Pete McCoubrey, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your week. But best of luck out there. Make sure you shoot them straight.
Yeah, you guys let me know. Keep me posted off the pod how that works out for you. And see you next week.
See you next week.
That sounded